The KZN flood victims are now trying to piece their lives back together. They're appealing for food, shelter, as well as basic necessities. The South African National Defence Force, as well as the Gift of the Givers, have been on the ground helping those in need. Meanwhile, a provincial day of prayer will be held today to remember the 448 lives lost. Our reporters on the ground monitoring the situation were now joined by Lethiwe Mhluli. Lethiwe, we understand that where you are, the prayer service has in fact started. Have you perhaps caught sight of any dignitaries that are in attendance today?
Well, Mfundo, as you can hear from what is currently happening, the prayer service is underway. I'm now joined actually by the Premier of the province, Mr. Zigalala. We are here, of course, to join in with the families that have lost their loved ones during the flooding last week. And the families are also present along with other dignitaries. I want to bring in the Premier, though, and let him explain exactly what is going to be taking place today. Premier, thank you so much for joining us at eNCA. Take us through what is going to be happening today. We know that this is a day where you are going to be remembering those victims.
We are here to pay respect to all victims of the floods that we suffered. We have with us here family members, and this is also a part of giving that spiritual and psychological support to all of them. We are led by the clergy from KwaZulu-Natal. They will be rendering services, a sermon and prayers, and thereafter we will serve also the counseling sessions that are organized separately for various families who are here. But this is not the end, or the beginning and the end. We have been sending teams to all homes or all families who are in temporal shelters and who are bereaved, sending teams that conduct counseling, because we believe people need that psychological support. It is quite important because the experience we've gone through is quite distressing.
Premier, give us an update on the rescue operations that are currently taking place. 448 people have died so far in the province. Is there an update with that?
448 are reported as the total number of fatalities. But we will continue. There is a continuation of rescue and of search and rescue teams. They are continuing to look for those who are missing. The work is still on. These teams are working under very difficult conditions, but we will continue to support them, and we hope all those who are missing will be recovered.
We've also been speaking to various families across the province, and they are pleading with government in terms of assistance with burial assistance. The eThekwini municipality did announce that they will be providing assistance in a form of 15,000 rand for each family. Take us through what the families need to do to get that assistance.
Families need to report either through councillors or their ward committees, report to the municipality, then they will be supported. But we also have a committee which is provincial, because this is not only in eThekwini. We have a committee that is provincial that look on supporting all those who are victims, especially the bereaved families. This committee is composed of the Premier's Office, Social Development, KZN, and they work with all areas, because areas that have been affected have been identified. So they are working with them. They know the families who are affected, and then they will be able to provide support. We must thank AFBOP, who pledged to support the burial of 150 people. That is quite helpful. As the provincial government, we have also adopted a policy which will allow the relevant departments such as KZN to support the families in burying their loved ones.
Before I let you go, Premier, there's been reports about a water tanker that stopped at your private residence. You did release a statement regarding that issue. Take us through what your response is, because currently opposition parties are calling for an investigation on this.
I don't have a problem with that investigation. We will welcome it. What happened, I always give support to the community of Lamesi. as I stayed there. Then on Friday, people called asking for water. I called the municipality to deliver water. They delivered water. And then in that process, they went home. I wasn't at home at that time. Then they also gave water to the family or to the people at home. I was away for the church service. I got the report from the residential association. I intervened at the same time that no, give water to all people. Yesterday we met also with the Lamese Residential Association, and we reached an understanding on that. I believe they will release their own statement later, or a joint statement with the office clarifying all of the issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is, of course, the Premier of the province, Mr. Sihle, just taking us through what is going to be happening regarding this prayer service. He also touched on the very controversial issue of that water tanker that was seen offloading some water in his private residence. He is saying that those opposition parties that are calling for the investigation, they are welcoming that investigation, and of course we will be awaiting that statement from residents of Lamese.
All right, thank you very much, Letio. We'll leave it there for now. That's our reporter, Letio Mhluli, out at the Durban Exhibition Centre. We now cross to our reporter, Lindokuhle Qulu, who's in the Mkambatini municipality, where 2 members of the Msani family died after being hit by a house when it collapsed during the flooding. Lindokuhle, we understand that today is the funeral service of the 2 family members. How is the community and even family members themselves feeling today?
Well, the KwaZulu-Natal floods have left so much devastation. When you walk around, when you drive around, you'll see that infrastructure, homes have been damaged. But as you crisscross this province, many of the people we engage with, we speak to, some without electricity, some without water, will tell you that the biggest devastation of this is, in fact, the lives that have been lost. And we are one of those areas, Mkambatini, as you rightfully said, where there is a funeral currently underway. You will just see and hear some of the processions taking place just behind me. But this is a funeral of 2 members of one family that have passed away because of these floods. We do understand that the other family members were rescued successfully, but the 2, a mother as well a daughter of this particular family of Kamsane, unfortunately lost their lives. So that is what is currently happening here. But we are going to speak to Auntie Virginia Wakamsane. Thank you so much, Virginia Wakamsane. Mama, thank you so much for joining us. Ngisacela nje ukuthi mama usichazele ukuthi kufihlwa bani namhlanje nokuthi kwenzakaleni ngabo.
Namhlanje sifihla umakoti kamfowethu nondodakazi kamfowethu. And ukuna kwemvula balimala engozini yendlu. Zawa izindlu ezu2 akuzakuphume empahla ke ngoba ngisho isigubhu sagesi asikho. Ngisho ingubo zokulala zikho. Ngisho amabhodo awekho. Ngisho ukudla kwamuka nezikhukhula akukho nje okukhona kaMsana.
Ngiyezwa kuthiwa njengoba babili abahambile kukhona abanye abasinda. Mabayixoxa indaba bathi kwenzakalani bona mhlambe ngokusinda kwakhe.
Ngizobakhulumela ngoba ngangikho. Umfana kamfowethu yena wengakazumeki. Umakoti nondodakazi sebezumekile. Ngenhlanhla ke umfana kamfowethu wakwazi yena ukuphuma. Laba abanye abazabe sakwazi ukuphuma ngoba indlavele yawa same time.
Ngiyezwa kuthiwa leli ikhaya lesibili la kulo muzi kaMsane, but belikhona elinye yilo lele kwenzakale khona. Uyasho ukuthi akuna nesigubhu sikagesi, akuna lutho ingubo nakho konke. Usizo mhlawumbe senilitholile ngokuthi kulunge lokho, bakhona ni abazile bazokwazi ukuthi banisize mhlawumbe banitshele ukuthi yini indlela yokuya phambili kulezi zinto ezenzakele.
Ngala ngaseThekwini bengingakaqhamuki lutho. Kodwa ngalana ke maqongo uqhamuka usasa ke naleyo voucher yakhona.
Ake sithi nje masiphetha labantu abalahlekile namhlanje emndenini, sichazele ngabo, sitshele ngabo obani bashiya bani ngemuva.
Uzanele Msane noHlengiwe Msane bashiya ubaba wekhaya ubhuti wami nabafane abawu3 nondodakazi omdala oseshadile.
Nicelani kuhulumeni njengoba sekwenzeke lesisigameko sekunganalutho olisele kulomuzi omunye.
Besingathanda uhulumeni ukuthi esakhele. Mhlambe mangaphuthuma ke engasiza nanokudla nanengubo. Kodwa nje esakhele umuzi ngoba njengamanje enesihleli nje emnyango. Yeah.
Thank you so much for ukukhuluma nathi. Auntie here of the family just explaining what had happened. It's a story we've heard in other families as well, saying that the walls of a house just simply crumbled. And she speaks about the aftermath, saying that there's absolutely nothing that's been left from that particular scene, another home of them son, a family away from this one. But she also speaks about the fact that there has been help from the local municipality of Umkambatini, but they are still waiting for help in terms of the provincial government and some of the help that's been promised that we've seen. But I just want to show you something that really brings in this particular picture into focus in terms of the families that are affected here. There are many other families that obviously have lost, but if you look at that side of the two graves that have been dug here, the 56-year-old Umamzanele Msane as well as the 30-year-old Uhlengiwe Msane will be laid to rest here today. And this is the sight that many of those that are here are experiencing, that they are seeing. So it just brings in the picture in terms of who exactly these people that are affected are. These are two graves here, but we know that there are other families that have lost more. Fortunately for this family, they were able to actually save some of the family members, and only two of them unfortunately passed away. But one of the things we are told is that at this stage, the coffins of those two are not here. They are just going to arrive at the final stage of what is currently taking place, the church here, because they were found decomposed, because they were one of those that had been missing. But eventually, when they were found, they were in a decomposing state, and that is why they won't be able to be part of this particular church service. But we do understand that when they get here, they will be led straight to these two graves that you see behind me. Quite a tragic thing for the family of them sons.
Thank you very much, Linda. It was very, very tragic and very important that we add that human element where they're not just part of the statistics. You have given them names, they have an identity, and today we really see the identity of the tragedy that has befallen KZN and the rest of South Africa. Thank you for that. To this now.